Hello everyone and welcome back guys to something very different on the channel. Yes, today, at long last, we are getting our first look at the all-new F1 Manager game. I was very lucky last week to head up to the Frontier Studios up in Cambridge and actually, got invited out to play this game, sort of give my hands-on sort of first impressions and have a look, what F1 Manager was all about. So yeah, first of all, a massive thank you to the team there at Frontier Developments for letting me, sort of go up and play the game. It was absolutely amazing. I cannot explain to you guys just how hyped I am for this game to release later on in the year, and to be able to finally bring you some footage I am very excited about. As well, of course, just a couple of quick housekeeping things as well before we jump into this. Of course, at the moment the game is still a work in progress, so there might be a few little different bits and pieces around the game that need to be balanced, need to be tweaked, everything like that. This isn't the finalized version of the game just yet, but safe to say, if you're a fan of management style games, this one had me absolutely hooked. I've sort of played a couple of different bits and pieces in the past, but F1 Manager, I genuinely do believe, is going to be a game changer there. And of course, if you're new already as well, and you're not subscribed, please do make sure you do so as well. We've just smashed through 50,000 subscribers, and I think with the help of F1 Manager, maybe 100k isn't going to be too far away either there. But just quickly though, like I said, a massive thank you to Frontier Developments. They've actually sent me out about 20 minutes worth of footage today. Now, normally, of course, sort of when we get sent footage for games and things like that, I kind of just chop and dice and sort of slice bits and pieces together. But I think because there is just an insane amount of detail in F1 Manager and so many things I want to cover today, this is probably going to be a very deep dive into F1 Manager, sort of trying to showcase as much as I possibly can for all of you as well. So, if there are sort of specific things you want to see from the game, if you're only sort of more interested on the on-track gameplay, there will be timestamps down below to different things there. But honestly, I'd say, if you're into management style games, say you've been playing Football Manager for years and you want an F1 style experience, this is hopefully going to be the video for you as well. There is just an insane amount of detail in F1 Manager. I kind of felt overwhelmed, and I'd like to think I know quite a lot about Formula 1. Never quite ran my own Formula 1 team, but, it's give it a couple more years and maybe we'll get a call up from the likes of Williams or Aston Martin there. But just to give you guys a bit of a backstory then for this video, we're actually pretty much at the exact same time we are in real life there. You can currently see we're on the 30th of May, so about a week ago now. But we're, exactly the same stage of the 2022 Formula 1 season. We've left Monaco. We're preparing for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix, of course, in real life this weekend. And we are currently the manager of BWT Alpine F1 team there. So we are effectively Otmar Safnauer at the moment. We're sort of sat at the desk with a lot of things to try and manage at this early stage of the year. Now, as you can see, the season objective is 4th or above, and currently we're sat in P5 there, just behind Alfa Romeo. So I think our goal this weekend is to try and outscore, Valtteri Bottas and Zhou Guanyu. Now, of course, this is the main sort of page there. This is your home page on the new F1 Manager game there. So you can see, obviously, you've got the team, the board confidence, obviously, how confident the people paying you the money are feeling in the background there. Like I said, the season objective and, of course, the long-term objective as well. We're definitely going to be doing a Road to Glory on this game. Of course, then you've got the Teams and Drivers Championship. Very easy to access there. You can see, like I said, we're currently in P5, a long way ahead of McLaren, though. So it really is a battle of best of the rest between us and Alfa Romeo there. Ferrari still lead the way in this universe. Oh, I'm sure how the people down at Maranello would love if that was still a reality at the moment. There, of course, you have got obviously your calendar, sort of how many days away you are and what race you're heading to next. And then you can see we've got a huge amount of upcoming events, and obviously we'll dive into that in just a moment. Across the bottom then you've got all your different tabs. So obviously you've got your home page, you've got your email inbox, you've got your calendar obviously for the different races that are coming up, and of course all these other upcoming events as well. You've got circuits, so obviously a little bit of a refresh on every track. F1 Manager's got all the 2022 tracks as you would expect. You've got the race tab, the cars tab, so obviously the cars tab is completely focused on you can have different concept wings for different things. I'll show you guys that in just a moment in a bit more detail there. Of course, you've got your drivers tab as well, Fernando Alonso and Esteban Ocon, and then you've got your staff, your facilities, your board, your finances, and of course, again, another sort of full blowout page of the championship standings there. And you can even see the team's budget. Yes, the budget cap is in F1 Manager as well, so you will be having to try and sort of limit your resources and make sure you don't spend too much money. You know, you got to try and find that balance between this year's car and next year's here. So let's dive into it then. You can see there is just sort of a quick little time lapse there as you get ready for the next race weekend. So you can see we've got lots of parts currently being manufactured, and we've even got a couple of scouting opportunities that we'll have a look at in just a moment as well there. So yeah, currently, you know, trying to, you know, Alonso, he's a bit of an older gentleman, I think it's safe to say, in the world of Formula 1. So we're currently just trying to scout a couple of different options for the future. Of course, you've got the likes of Ralph Boschung then. So just letting you know the scouts have finished their report on Ralph Boschung. I've attached the information we've gathered to this email if you want to use it to negotiate a contract with him in the future. Now, of course, to begin with, you know, if you're someone like me, when I jumped into the game, I really wanted to immediately sort of put Oscar Piastri into the car. I must admit, I was told by the team over at Frontier that that might not be a sensible idea immediately, because I think Oscar Piastri is like sort of 70-odd rated. You can see every driver, of course, has got their own rating, so Ralph Boschung is 67 rated, and you can see there he wants a salary of $241,000, but of course that is in Formula 2 there, and of course a very, very cheap buyout fee as well there of $139,000. Now, of course, all the Formula 2 drivers, they're eager to get into Formula 1. They're going to have a lot of patience with you if you want to try and give them a sort of, you know, a contract negotiation. You know, they're all trying to make it to the big leagues. You know, they want to try and get into Formula 1 as well. So they're going to be very, very patient. You know, if you're going up for someone like Lewis Hamilton or Max Verstappen, if you're a team like Alpine, you're probably going to have to be paying out of the nose to try and afford those drivers as well. Yeah, we did a bit of scouting on Ralph Boschung, and then we've also done a bit of scouting, I think it was on Jack Doohan as well, so you can just see all of the different information you've got from Ralph Boschung. Then you can see Jack Doohan as well, 67 rated as well, you know, not after as much money, but they have also got notable attributes as well. So Jack Doohan, he's a very, very accurate driver. I think Ralph Boschung, his attribute is very, very quick reaction times as well. So very, very interesting to see, you know, sort of what's going on with that one. As, yeah, just, you know, all these Formula 2 drivers, of course, what does happen as well is, you know, if you get all the F2 drivers into Formula 1 and, you know, you've got sort of the F1, F2, F3 ladder, further below that, you will then get sort of regeneration characters as well. I think that's sort of what they're called in other management style games there. So you will get regens. It won't just be, you know, sort of once all the F1 drivers are retired and all the F2 drivers are retired and then you're just stuck with all the Formula 3 drivers until they retire. Yeah, you will get regens that come through as well there. But it does mean, you know, for example, say you're a Ferrari, you've got Charles Leclerc at the team. He's doing really well. You've got Carlos Sainz. Perhaps he's not doing so well. You might think, you know what, we're Ferrari, we're going to set up a bit of a brother lineup and then watch Arthur Leclerc sort of rise the ranks through F3 and F2 there, and then maybe you want to sign him up to Ferrari as well there. And yeah, that would be very, very exciting. I'm sure we're going to see a lot of different challenges for that. So having a look then at the driver profile, you can see there you've obviously got all the information you expect, you know, his age, his nationality, everything like that. And this is what I spoke about, you know, when it comes to patience for negotiations. So, like I said, all the Formula 2 drivers very, very interested in trying to get an F1 gig. And, you know, maybe we could see Jack Doohan at Alpine over the next couple of years. But, of course, what you can do is compare him as well to your drivers. So, obviously, up against Fernando Alonso, a two-time Formula 1 champion, going to be very, very difficult there. And then you can see going up against Oscar Piastri, 74 rated, and just look at the amount of data there is on all of these drivers there. So, of course, all the F1 reserves are included as well there. You can see, you know, each driver colour-coded, obviously, where their strong points are in comparison to each other. So you can see, for the most part, Oscar Piastri is just, you know, sort of the all-round deal over Jack Doohan there. You know, Jack Doohan a little bit younger, though, so he's got time to develop. But you can see, yeah, Jack Doohan, only real sort of strong point over Oscar Piastri is actually his overtaking ability there. You know, Oscar, we saw throughout F2 last year, he was very much just sort of picked up the pieces, everything like that. And you can see they're equal as well on things like accuracy and defending there. But both of them with a very, very high growth potential as well, which is, of course, super important. And you can see, yeah, Oscar, maybe just a little hot under the collar in comparison to Jack Doohan as well there. So, yeah, really, really cool. Like I said, it's just the sheer amount of data that's going into this game that I cannot believe. You know, there is just so much stuff. And then you can see you can go in and propose a contract to him. So obviously you can try and, you know, swap him out for maybe one of your first or your second drivers, or of course the reserve. And then of course you can sort of discuss contract lengths and things like that there. So of course you can run him as a reserve for as like 5 years if you wanted to there, and, you know, even try and tempt him in with some bonuses as well there. And then of course you can go ahead and offer the contract, and I think Jack Doohan is probably going to accept that. So there we go, Jack Doohan, Oscar Piastri out, Jack Doohan in. Then you can see just confirming that one with the team there. Of course, you got to pay to get rid of Oscar Piastri as well. So yeah, Jack Doohan into the team immediately there, making big moves down at Alpine. You know, Otmar with one of his first high-profile sort of what do you want, like acquisitions, I suppose, is probably the right word at the moment there. You can see you got obviously lots of other emails for different things as well. There are board confidence check-ins, so obviously constantly in Formula 1, you know, the business side of things, you know, the companies that are giving you the money, you know, for example, down at Alpine, it'll be, of course, Renault. They'll be giving you a fair few pennies, you know, Binance as well. I think Alpine is sponsored by BWT as well. You know, there's going to be a lot of people that are going to be expecting results with the money they're pumping in there. So you can just see, of course, getting a few more emails through there. Obviously, they would expect a good result in the board review in about 2 months. You know, Alpine, we're expecting P4, but P5, and we're not far away as well. We're doing pretty well at this stage of the game there. And then, of course, we've also got one of the most important things and one of the biggest talking points so far in F1 2022 is, of course, finances. Everyone is talking about it. You know, Christian Horner's come out saying, you know, he doesn't believe a lot of the teams will be able to make it to the end of the year with enough money. So, you know, sort of balancing the books, managing out everything as well is going to be really, really critical there. So you can just see, you know, we've got this little bar chart of how much money we've spent versus how much the team think we'll spend. And, you know, these are big bucks there. So projected income, 218 million they reckon Alpine's going to make. And apparently we're only going to spend 65 million at the moment. But of course, that'll continue to rise as the season goes on there. Obviously, got to try and get up as close to that $150 million budget as we possibly can there. And you can see, yeah, if we bring in 218 million, we'll have done pretty well by the end of the year there. And of course, you get even more information. Why wouldn't you get even more information from that? So just, again, I cannot stress this enough, just how this is a complete sort of absolute nerd fest for someone like me. I worry how many hours I'm going to sink into F1 Manager, and hopefully you are all going to join me along that journey there. But obviously driver contracts, staff, facilities, everything like that, car development, sponsor payments, and it's just even things like entry fees and fines and miscellaneous spending. It's all included in this game as well there. And of course, yeah, it's just so many things to really sort of break into and jump into as well. You can see you can even break it down even more. So obviously you've got obviously your individual, you know, sort of your race mechanics, you know, your lead pit engineers and things like that. Everyone is included. The scouting team, the pit crews, everything you could possibly think of is featured in this game there. And then even obviously you've got projected earnings and spendings as well there. And you can just see as, you know, sort of fly through all the emails. Let's go over and then have a bit of a fast forward on to the next couple of things. So this was the other big thing as well, of course. You know, we talk about the budget cap, but teams are still trying to apply as many upgrades as they possibly can there. And what you can do on F1 22, of course, is develop new upgrade parts, but you can also be quite strategic with it. Now, say for example, you will sometimes find where, you know, developing new parts does take time. You might get to the Azerbaijan Grand Prix weekend and you've only got one new front wing with, say, you know, it reduces the drag down the straight, but, you know, it keeps the downforce levels pretty consistent there. You then have got to make the call whether Fernando Alonso or Esteban Ocon is going to get that front wing, or are you going to try and just keep harmony within the team and go, you know what, we'll wait until we get the next front wing also sorted, ready for Canada, and then you can both roll with it on the same weekend there. But of course, that also means you can develop a lower downforce front wing and then revert back to an old one as well though. You know, it's not like F1 2021 or F1 22 where you got to try and change the wing angle. You can develop completely separate wings. Like, you know, we often see, you know, when Formula 1 heads back to Monza, you know, the rear wings are basically letterboxes. There's just nothing to them. And then, of course, you get to Monaco or Mexico, for example, at the other end of the spectrum, and they're running just absolutely humongous wings, you know, barely within the regulations still. So there is just so much to think about as well. So you can see side pods manufactured. This time around, we've got 4 of them sorted, and you can just see there's so much information. You know, you got the airflow at the front, the drag reduction, the engine cooling as well. You know, these are all things that Formula 1 teams have to consider, and I'm sure what a lot of people will never have even considered at home. You know, when you sort of look at Mercedes in 2022 struggling at the start of the year there, yeah, it's not quite the case on this game there. So you can see you get the option to install between car 1 and car 2. This then takes you over to your cars tab there. So again, this is a deep dive into, I mean, you've got individual cars, like I said, you know, if you want to put different parts on different cars. Huge swaths of data as well. Their top speed, acceleration, cornering, everything like that. And obviously, even just little extra things. So obviously, recommended for the circuit. So, you know, if you're heading to a new Grand Prix, you know, and you want different parts on the car there, you can see, you know, good acceleration is important at Baku, but top speed, really important. Obviously, that's where the game just tries to hold your hand a little bit as well, and just tries to give you that little bit of extra information. Just, you know, if you're not so into Formula 1, you know, you're not someone like me that knows every track without racing line or anything like that, you sort of know still what you can do. And of course, then you've got different things, you know, you've got the chassis, the front wing, the rear wing, the side pods, the underfloor, the suspension, and even they've all got different code names depending on which version we're currently rocking as well on the game. There is just so much to go through. This channel is proudly sponsored by Bybit, the official crypto partner of Red Bull's Formula 1 team. I've been using their platform for my personal crypto savings over the last few months, and when they got in touch to support the channel, I was super excited. Currently, they're offering you guys a special new promo for the first 100 of you to deposit $10 or more onto the platform. You'll get another $10 free. Also, 5 lucky winners will get their initial deposit doubled up to $1,000. That means if you deposited $1,000 onto the platform using my codes below, you could be within a chance to get another $1,000 completely free. We've seen the landscape around crypto drastically change over the last couple of years, and I genuinely believe it holds an important place in our future. However, please be careful as always when trading, as you are liable to lose money. But if you're interested and you're 18 or older, click the link down below to get started and see why Red Bull and myself, as well as thousands of others, trust Bybit as their crypto. So then having a look, even within each of the side pods, obviously you've got different things that you can do there. So obviously you can either try and design a new part, you can swap them out with the other ones. Obviously you can find out more information about each of the different types of side pods you've got, and then of course you can manufacture new ones and even research. So obviously trying to set up then the opportunities down the line to try and develop new parts, and obviously hopefully try and find that breakthrough in the car as well there. So you can see, going to install the new side pods on both cars there, you know, it just helps out a little bit. And then of course you've got the current comparison with the new parts as well there. So if I just rewind just a little bit, you can see that if we just go back a little bit more, you can see we have got the information between, obviously this was the SP1 versus the SP2 versions of the side pods there. Gives us a little bit of extra top speed, gives us a little bit of extra with the DRS as well there, and of course massively increases the dirty air cornering and even the engine cooling as well there. So super important obviously around a track like Baku. And yeah, like I said, this is what I sort of wanted to do, this deep dive into F1 2020, F1 Manager even I should say, because there is just so many things that you've got to consider as well there. So we've welcomed Jack Doohan to the team as well there. So he's got a 5-year contract now with Alpine. Clearly we're putting all of our eggs into the Jack Doohan basket. You know, Oscar Piastri, he's 2021 news. He's old news now at this point. And then, of course, you can mark your emails as read so you don't lose track of those as well. There you can see just manufacturing a couple more different things there. So we've got a new rear wing as well. Like I said, you know, that's obviously got a lot of the same features as the other things, you know, the side pods that we just developed. And then you can see we even get a bit of a race preview as well there. So we're in for quite a race at Azerbaijan. At the moment, Ferrari leading the constructors by 27 points, with Charles Leclerc on top and the drivers by 26 points. Everyone is going to be keeping a close eye on Charles Leclerc, who took first place at last weekend's Grand Prix at Monaco, and even more eyes on Max Verstappen as the fight is starting to heat up. One thing's for certain, you don't want to miss it there. So there we go. An interview from Michael Loom there, one of the staff writers at F1.com as well. So, you know, sort of getting those little plugs and getting those features. And then we're going to have a quick look at all of the new data from the new front wing there. So really important. Does give us a lot of extra information as well there. Again, obviously, you know, it's very similar to what we've just seen. And, you know, giving us just that little bit of extra help in hand, making sure that we've got everything sorted, ready for Baku here. You know, there's a lot of micromanagement on F1 22 as well there. And obviously, before we jump in to the weekend. Just trying to make sure we go through our last couple of emails. So you can see there, the team obviously preparing reports ready for the weekend. We've got circuit info, performance target, and of course the car builds. You know, Alpine often had a car very, very good down the straights in the past. So yeah, obviously they're going to really want to try and focus on that this weekend as well there, and just make sure the car is all ready to go, ready here in Baku. You know, it should be a good track for Alpine as well there, so we'll wait and see. And then even then, when you get to Baku, you've still got all of this information. You've obviously got an overview of the circuit. You've got a circuit map. You know, you've got different speed sections, the car attributes, the time considerations as well, expected strategies, previous race data that is all realistic. I mean, you've got Charles Leclerc's fastest lap from 2019 there. You've got obviously all the tyres that are available this weekend, how many laps the Grand Prix is, everything like that. And then, of course, historic data as well. How many times we've seen a safety car at Baku? Pretty much every year, if I remember correctly. You've obviously got the tyre compounds, how the team expect the tyres to last, you know, whether you want to try and brave it out, maybe go a little bit longer on a stint, maybe you just want to sort of play it safe, you know, whether it's a one-stop or a two-stop, and everything like that. There's just so many things to consider that, of course, I think it's very, very easy for a lot of us just sort of sat at home to think, oh, it must be really easy being a race engineer, but no, that's not the case, and you can just see in the background all these things, you know, that Formula 1 teams have to consider that, of course, yeah, we just sort of take for granted sat at home, but sometimes it can be quite counterintuitive there. So you can just see safety cars, yeah, very, very common, and virtual safety cars as well there. So no deployments, and then obviously you got a little bit of comparison there between sort of 3 VSCs and, sorry, 3 Grand Prix without a VSC, 1 Grand Prix without a safety car there, and you can just see a little bit of a comparison as well between each of the years. And it's even got average pit time, of course. That's absolutely critical. So say, for example, you know, someone pits behind you under the safety car, that's only going to cost them 9 seconds. You try and pit them when the green flag racing goes, you're effectively going to lose 11 seconds out to them through the pit lane. So there's a lot to consider, and of course that'll be really critical, you know, if you're trying to battle it out with other teams as well. Expected tyre strategies, you can see there the team saying either soft hard or medium hard. The results from last year's Grand Prix, that's all realistic. Of course, Sergio Perez won the last race in Azerbaijan there. Of course, Sebastian Vettel and Pierre Gasly joining him on the podium. You know, that was obviously where Bottas, Hamilton and Verstappen all had nightmare weekends there. Or Verstappen obviously got very, very unlucky, and Hamilton had that lockup late on in the day. But all of that data is accurate to real life there, and there's just such a cool blend between this game and the real life information as well there. You know, it really is just super immersive and super realistic, and you know, if you're a big fan of the real sport, there's going to be so much cool stuff to go into. Of course, then you've also got things like qualifying targets. So for example, you know, if you want to try and, you know, get a little bit of extra money from the sponsor, a performance guarantee is an optional performance target that you can set yourself. Sponsors will reward you for achieving the target, but they'll reduce their contribution if you don't hit your own guarantee there. So say, for example, you know, we turned around, we said to BWT, we're going to get pole this weekend, and they go, great. If you do, we'll give you this extra bit of money, because obviously it'll look great at the start of the race, you know, everyone focusing on Fernando Alonso somehow storming back to his first pole position in years. But obviously if you don't hit that, BWT will be going, well, what's the point? Why would we give you all this extra money if you're just going to claim... If you were expecting to get pole, what's going on? Why aren't you achieving these pole positions? So, yeah, a bit risky to think about, but I think sort of Q2 in an Alpine is a pretty safe guess there. So, obviously, you've got qualifying targets, race targets, and hot streaks there. So, obviously, race targets, you know, are just fairly normal sort of where you think you'll finish at the end of the race there. And, obviously, hot streaks as well are based on sort of where, you know, over different race weekends there. So you can see we've just set ourselves up. We reckon we'll finish 10th. Of course, if you predict you're going to finish higher and you get the result, then you get even more of a bonus. If not, of course, then you miss out on even more money. So it's sort of that risk versus reward as well that you've got to be really careful with there. So yeah, and obviously then you've got hot streaks as well, like I said, which are just trying to get good results consistently over the next few race weekends there. But I think that is going to cover us for all of the absolutely nerdy information before we jump into a race that I have spoke a lot early on. Let's get in then here to the Azerbaijan Grand Prix, and I'm going to show you guys just a little bit of race footage, I think, as well. Formula 1 is finally back in 2022, and now you can rep your favourite teams. Of course, using the F1 store, every team now has merch lineups available, whether you're an Aston Martin fan, a Williams fan, Mercedes, Ferrari, Red Bull, the choice is completely up to you. But yeah, check out the F1 merch store down below for all the official releases from all of the teams. And of course, as always, if you use our links as well, you massively help support the channel. So yeah, give it a look and see if there's anything you like. So there we go then, the end of qualifying, and it is looking like Max Verstappen is going to be starting on pole here in Baku. But of course, you got David Croft. Would it really be a Formula 1 game without David Croft nowadays? Of course, we'll have a little bit of a look. Karun Chandok as well there. Obviously, don't hear so much from him elsewhere, but absolutely love hearing Karun in F1 Manager as well. That was a very, very nice surprise. And of course, yeah, like we said at the start, our big goal this weekend is to try and jump Alfa Romeo in the championship, or at least make good grounds against them as well here. But Bottas starting quite high up the order, if I remember correctly, so might be a little bit difficult, but you never know, a good time safety car, maybe El Plan finally comes into action this weekend. It's all to play for here in Azerbaijan, as I mean, we're only 1/3 of our way into the season. But of course, even when you get to the race, you know, you think you got everything sorted. No, you've then obviously got all the strategies. So things like, obviously, for example, what strategy you want to take the tyres on, how confident your driver is with the setup. So obviously you can sort of tweak things around. You know, if a driver's feeling more confident with the setup, you can make them push harder during the race. You know, obviously you've got things like fuel as well. I would not recommend underfueling on this game. I will tell you a story. I might have underfueled my car when I went up to Frontier, and it might have ended badly for me. I think that the less we say about that, the better. But of course, yeah, car setup, everything like that is pretty much all set up now. Of course, the only thing you can change, just like real life, front wing angles and the brake bias and a couple of other little bits there. But Alonso starting 9, Esteban Ocon starting P11. So it does mean with Ocon, of course, we can do a little bit of a more open-ended strategy there, and you can just see, obviously you've got plan A, plan B, plan C, so I think we might, what do we want to keep Alonso on? We're going to put him on plan B then, so starting on the medium tyres there, and then might just take a little bit of fuel out of it, not quite as much as I did at the event a couple of weeks ago, but we'll give him 104 kilos worth of fuel there. So obviously Ocon starting outside the top 10, we might just give him a little bit of a different strategy as well there. Of course, you're going to adjust all the strategies, everything like that. You can even tell the driver how much you want to push over each stint as well though. So, you know, for example, with Ocon, you know, he's going to be one of the first drivers on a completely fresh set of tyres, so you can underfuel him a little bit and make him go really, really hard early on, you know, and hopefully last those extra couple of laps over most of the field. And then, of course, you get ready for the start of the race then. Just having a quick look around the beautiful Aston Martin safety car, and then, of course, all the teams down on the grid ready for the start of the race. So, I mean, this is something that's never really been done in any manager game, and I think this is the thing that's going to keep a lot of people hooked as well there. You know, the fact you have got all of this detail, you know, all these cinematic responses as well there, you know, of all the cars on the grid ready to go. Where can Ocon and Alonso finish here in Azerbaijan? I don't think, unfortunately, we're going to quite find out because, of course, this is a manager game. You've got 100% races. But here we are then on the grid. 5 lights here in Baku. And it is going to be a very long hold, but lights out. And away we go there. And you've even got the crofty commentary in the background there as we head down towards turn 1. Let's just pause it quickly and run through again. You're plastered with a screen full of information, of course. Top left hand side, you've got your timing tower. Then, of course, you've got each of the driver's strategy. So if you click that little camera icon, or you even just click on their names, obviously you'll focus on either Alonso or Esteban Ocon a little bit further back. This, of course, is where you can change see what tyre life they're on, change their pace there. You can even obviously decide whether you want them to push a little bit more on the fuel, and then, of course, how aggressively you want them to push on the battery as well. So plenty to go through early on, and then, of course, you can just sort of remove that information. Obviously, you've got the race time, sort of what the weather's going to be doing, the track rubber, the track grip, everything like that, and then, of course, you've got the track map as well there. So all the information you could ever need. You know, at no point was I at this event and thinking, oh, I really wish I could know this, because there's just so much going on. I don't think you could ever sensibly sort of absorb all the information there. But yeah, Alonso starting just behind both Mercedes, so maybe he's, you know, going to try and rustle Hamilton's feathers again, just like he did last time round in Monaco there. But Gasly up in P6 there, and Bottas running up in P4 at the moment. They're actually in a Ferrari sandwich at the start, so I think we've got Charles Leclerc and Sergio Perez having a bit of a battle. But as we fast forward on to lap 2, then you can just see the track getting a little bit sunnier early on in the race. But of course, yeah, you can speed things up, you can slow things down, and I think one of the coolest features as well there is, of course, you can see now Ocon just behind Lando Norris in this race. Of course, DRS, everything like that is perfectly simulated as well there. When a car goes for a move, like Ocon thought about there, even if it's not one of your drivers, it'll give you a little bit of a heads up. I think we will actually get a look at that in just a moment. It'll give you a heads up and an option to click on and actually see a replay of the overtake as well there. So there we go, that's Ocon's engineer telling him that he needs to push just a little bit more. Obviously that's got real radio messages as well there, and obviously you've got all the options for how you want to use your ERS. So obviously you'll use, obviously if I quickly rewind back actually just for a second, you'll notice that the ERS there, it obviously had -2 megajoules, -2 megajoules, -2 as well. But obviously because it's overtake, defending and deploy, you will use those at different points down the straight there. So obviously if you're trying to go for an overtake, you want to be using battery right up to the braking zone to try and get yourself alongside the car in front. But obviously if you're using it to defend, you're probably going to use a little bit more on the start of the straight to try and bring you away from the car behind there as well. And of course deploy is just a bit more of an all-round approach. And then of course if you're like me and you don't manage your battery very well, you've then obviously got the option to go neutral or to even harvest energy, if you've made a bit of a mistake as well there. So we're going to set Ocon to really try and just push on Lando Norris at the moment. So, we can force the McLaren into a mistake perhaps under pressure there as we head through the castle section. But I mean, look at all the camera angles. It is just like watching a real-life Formula 1 Grand Prix as well there. I'll be honest, I pretty much did a 100% race and at no point was I bored. And that was most of it, and probably about 40 laps of it, I was running at 1x speed. That's just how intuitive, Sometimes I must admit in the past I've wondered whether sort of the engineers get bored and things like that during a Grand Prix. Now I've played this, it's completely changed the way I view it. These guys surely are just constantly focusing on different things there. As Ocon's going to try and have a look up the inside, in through the final chicane there. A very, very brave attempt at a move there. He's going to go drag racing back down towards turn 1 there, of course, down the huge 2-kilometre straight there. Fernando's engineer just confirming that DRS has now been enabled. But yeah, there we go. Ocon making the move on Lando Norris. And there we go. That's the little tab at the top. Obviously, if you want to go back and re-watch the replay there, I think, like I said, we're going to look at someone else's move in just a moment. I think, yeah, Daniel Ricciardo just behind under pressure from Kevin Magnussen. But of course, you can focus on any car you like. If you want to sort of watch the battle out front, say, for example, your two drivers are just somewhere in the mid-pack, you can go and watch a battle between Max Verstappen and Charles Leclerc at the front of the field there. You can watch any single car that is currently in the running. And even better, something I've been wanting on F1 games for years, there's even the ability to tell your teammate to let you by. So obviously, don't fight your teammate. What we've said this time around, Ocon obviously on a quicker set of tyres at the moment. Or obviously then you've got the option, defend like a lion, that sort of thing, as we're talking about Alpine here. But team orders as well in the game, so maybe we might upset Alonso today there. But yeah, luckily this time around, Alonso sort of appreciating Ocon is the faster car at the moment there, and he's actually been able to really sort of stick and sort of make moves work early on in the race there. And now we're going to tell Alonso, don't let the car behind now. That's Daniel Ricciardo. Try and just hold him back as best as possible. Do what you did at Monaco once more there. But you can see both Mercs just side by side up the road there. You got different camera angles as well, so obviously you've got the off-board shots, but then also the on-boards there as Russell now makes the jump on Hamilton. So fingers crossed we're going to be able to get a little bit closer to Lewis as well over the next couple of laps. But plenty of data again there. Obviously you've got the different options the driver can set on the steering wheel. Obviously you've got the different car performance as well, obviously how the car's handling, whether you got damage, things like that. Different strategy, and then also how the driver is faring as well there early on in the race as we head up through the castle section. Maybe if we can get Ocon, just attempt to push a little bit more, get inside the DRS of Lewis Hamilton as well there. Of course, all the cars, they've got their different characteristics as well, sort of what one car will be quite good at, what another car might struggle with, so all of that is factored into the game as well. So, for example, like I said, Alpine, very, very good top-end speed there, but Ocon has used a huge amount of his battery early on in the race.
No more
so you can see now he's got no more ERS, so we might have to manage that in a second. No, we're gonna tell the team to ignore that just for now and then go back up into harvest mode there, so I don't think we're going to be able to make a move work on Lewis Hamilton this time around, but we're not doing too badly. Maybe those new side pods are going to come in clutch here as we head down the front straight with it. As you can just see all over the back of Lewis Hamilton, he activates the DRS as we sort of try and weave this way and that there, try and get a good view as we head back down in towards turn 1. Is it worth a send? No, Hamilton just covers that off at the last moment there, and like I said, so many cool different camera angles as well, so you can really get an in-depth look at what is going on there. It's all George Russell down at the second corner there, just now starting to go under pressure from his teammate Hamilton again. Is there maybe some fireworks down at Mercedes? Hamilton going to think about it to the inside in towards turn 3 there, and Ocon's just going to sit back and watch this one pan out. And luckily this time around, Hamilton, that was always going to be a closing gap down in towards turn 3 there. So lucky for Hamilton they didn't go for that one. And of course, lucky for Ocon that he didn't get involved in an incident in front. Now, of course, as well, this is a Formula 1 game. There are safety cars. There are virtual safety cars. I even managed to accidentally give Esteban Ocon a puncture on the final lap in this race. I think he was running about P6, and unfortunately I got a puncture late on in the day, and that meant he dropped right back to the rear of the field. There are even red flags. Yes, we've been waiting so long for red flags to return to a Formula 1 game as well. There's, you can see in the background, Lando Norris has made an overtake on Fernando. So obviously, whilst this was all going on, you get a good little view at the move Lando Norris is now going to try and make around the outside through turn 4. That's a very, very brave move from the McLaren, but he does pull the move off. And then just all those little extra bits of information as well there that you get. Now, like I said, perhaps you're someone that doesn't want to sit around and watch 90 minutes of Formula 1 in slow motion there. So you have got the option of, I think, up to 16 times speed. Anything 4 or higher is obviously this sort of map of the circuit. So obviously you can sort of just manage the game from a bit more of a bird's eye view and see what's going on, sort of try and get the bigger picture. Really, really important, if you're on a safety car or something like that, obviously just you can try to fast forward through it if you want to as well there. But yeah, anything over 4 times speed, like I said, you can watch from this, or you can run 1 or 2 times speed if you still want to sit down trackside as well there. But it does mean, for example, if you don't want to sit through 51 laps of a Grand Prix, you can obviously speed it up there. I mean, 16 times speed, it'll be like running, what, 4 or 5 laps? I mean, that really won't take you long at all. Of course, probably won't quite get the good results you'd want. I think games like this really do sort of try and reward the players that, really sort of try and put a lot of time and effort into it. Basically, what I'm saying is if you're a huge F1 Manager sweat, you're probably going to do quite well on F1 Manager as well there. But look at that. 20 minutes of footage, nearly 40 minutes of me talking over the top of it. That is our first look at F1 Manager here in Formula 1 2022. Like I said, I'm so excited for this game to release in the coming months as well there. So yeah, very, very excited for it. If you have enjoyed this video as well, please do make sure you leave a like and get yourself subscribed down below for plenty more F1 Manager content. Like I said, I sort of wanted to do a proper deep dive into this game there, trying to give you guys more information than you will have seen by anyone else. So, if that's something you've enjoyed, please do make sure, like I said, you leave a like and get yourself subscribed there. Once again, a massive, massive thank you to Frontier as well for letting me go up and play the game. Fingers crossed I'm going to be able to do a little bit more before the game does release as well. I'm certainly hoping so because, yeah, that itch has now well and truly been scratched. And I want a whole lot more on F1 Manager. Not 100% sure what I'm going to do when the game comes out. I still haven't decided which team I want to do a bit of a road to glory with because that will certainly be the plan a bit further on down the line there. But I mean, this and F1 2022 coming out over the coming weeks and months, I'm so excited. It's going to be such a cool time to be a Formula 1 fan as well. Like I said, hitting 50,000 subscribers recently as well, it's just given me so much motivation. So thank you all so much for watching this video. If you have enjoyed, like I said, please do make sure you leave a like, get yourself subscribed as well, and we will be back, hopefully sooner rather than later, with more F1 Manager content. None of these videos would be possible without the help of our channel members, so a massive thank you to all of the names you see on your screens currently for helping support the channel. You can join them by clicking the join button down below, and yeah, thank you once again to everyone that continues all the insane support on my work.